did their job, even though, the governor's getting in the way of them doing their jobs.
The New York Post reporter who was on the ground when it happened, Jenny Tair, joins us now. Jenny, thanks for being with us this morning. Let's talk about your experience first. So you were there. You see this breaking out. You have your phone or your camera there with you. Tell us about that moment. Tell us about what you saw.
Yeah, so I was there with photographer James Breeden. We were coming here to cover the migrant crisis, to see what was happening. And when we got to the gate here, gate 36, where this happened, there were 600 migrants amassed there. They were actually in pretty good order when we had arrived that morning, about an hour before this incident occurred. And that turned into chaos slowly as migrants realized that if they were single adults, they were being turned back by Texas National Guard here under state orders. The Border Patrol was standing on the other side of the gate and really wasn't involved in this response. But what happened was these migrants decided they would overtake the National Guard, who were completely outnumbered. And as you saw, it was a very violent situation. We've since learned that some of these migrants had been armed with knives and shanks. And that's, how they assaulted these National Guardsmen.
So let me see if I understand this correctly, or I'm analyzing this correctly, Jenny. So what you have is a group, possibly in the hundreds, of single adult men who've come with a sense of expectation that there's going to be a certain process that takes place, and they get to come into the country. They are met not with Border Patrol, they're met with the National Guard put in place by Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. So that broke their expectation. And then they understand, because of the National Guard's presence, they're going to be turned away. The normal process of getting in that's been in place under Biden won't be how it goes. There's a new process, National Guard, Abbott, Texas, and then you get this violence.
Absolutely. And I think the White House's response is very telling on this, because they focus on congratulating Border Patrol, but they never mention the National Guard here, our military members who were totally overrun, assaulted, beaten. Some of these members of the National Guard did go to the hospital for minor injuries. This was a really brutal situation. And the Border Patrol was actually rewarding this behavior. And it's not the rank and file agents, but it's their leadership in Washington that is instructing them to open the gate, to let these people in. And apprehending them is a very loose term nowadays, because we know that a lot of these people are caught and released.
Yeah, no, in fact, Karine Jean-Pierre is blaming the National Guard. She's blaming Governor Greg Abbott for placing the National Guard into that situation to actually enforce the laws and change those expectations that we just laid out together. To me, this whole thing, it underlines why people are coming to our border. They're expecting it to go a certain way. And when it goes the other way, the way that enforces our laws, this is the reaction, which you happen to catch on camera for us at the New York Post. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for joining us this morning to tell us about that experience, Jenny. Appreciate you.